Our next speaker is Ms. Kimberly McCollum, and she's going to speak on energy saving strategies and products.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank everybody for attending tonight. I'd like to thank Lorraine for inviting us and allowing all of us to be here tonight and share information that's important to every single one of us here. There's not anybody here that's not impacted by what's happening in our community at this time. But I'd also like to say it's not the first time that these sorts of things have happened in our community. It was only about maybe 3 years ago, 3 summers ago, that we were looking at WAPA rates that were at 50 cents a kilowatt hour. And at that point in time, because of the work that I do, I saw people come in and ask questions and become educated and learn how they could do things that they hadn't done a week before. And that's what we have to do here tonight. I was introduced earlier as having a degree in engineering, and I've got Marcus Bodio here with me tonight, and he also is a part of our engineering team at Quality Electric Supply. But you don't have to be an engineer to find out what it is that you need to do to help your situation. And what's good for your situation or my situation or the next person's situation isn't the same answer across the board. So we have to find out, what are our options and what does it mean for me and how do I make the best decision? We've got Channel 8 here tonight, and I know anybody who knows Channel 8 knows Wes Smalls. And one thing I like about Wes Smalls is he's always asking some questions. He always wants to get some answers, and that's what every one of us have to do. We have to become our own investigative reporter. And there's, as Lorraine said, there's a lot of sexy answers out there that everybody wants to say, do this and you won't have any more problems. Well, that's just not true because, like I said, what happens for one person is not the same for the other. And before you make one decision, check everything out. I've got some information here with me tonight. Is anybody familiar with the term EDIN? Anybody heard that term? And I'm not talking about the garden. All right, there is a movement called EDIN, E-D-I-N, and more specifically, that movement has been taken from the international world, which is Australia, New Zealand, Iceland, and it stands for Energy Development in Island Nations. And that's what we all are here about tonight, is how do we develop our energy and address the needs of our energy to make it the most cost-effective solution for us. There's a lot of different things out there. And if you read, this is an excellent publication that the EDIN organization has put out. It's called USVI Energy Roadmap. And it talks about everything. It talks about energy efficiency. It talks about fuel substitutions, renewable energy, fuel alternatives, transportation. Everything is in this. And it talks about what the goals of the U.S. Virgin Islands are based on the governor's program. And if anybody, I'm sure there's many of you here who must have heard that, because there's commercials there, if you're watching Channel 8, you're seeing the commercials. But about the impact that we're all dealing with today based on the energy crisis that's specifically here in our community. And, excuse me, the part of that is, if you look in any of this documentation, the governor's goal is to reduce fossil fuel consumption 60% by the year 2025. And a lot of people are confused because they think that means that just is the utility company's responsibility, that they have to reduce their fuel consumption, and that's the answer for all of us. But we also know that that's not going to happen right away. It's not even going to happen a year from now, likely, because just like all of us have the impact of cost, so does the utility company. And if you look through any of this information, and it was put together by Department of Energy and National Renewable Energy Laboratories, you're going to see charts and pie charts and graphs and all sorts of things. Efficiency is a greater impact than renewable energy. Doesn't mean that they're both not solutions and that we shouldn't incorporate both of them, but we have to do one step at a time. And sometimes for us as individuals, whether it's an individual business owner or an individual resident that has to maintain our own home, we have to start out small because that's all we can do. But sometimes the small steps are the biggest steps. And that's the things that we want to share with you and help you with. I don't want to take up a lot of time getting into detail, but we are talking about energy efficient solutions like changing lighting, changing air conditioning, changing how we supply our hot water, changing our building envelopes, Because if we've got maybe putting some coatings on our windows, putting reflective materials on our rooftops, there's all sorts of different things that we can do even at the smallest level. And then if we reduce that need that we have, then when we do and we are and we can be ready for solar and wind and other renewable alternatives, that need will not be as great and it won't cost us as much because we've already invested more wisely in some of these steps to get to that point. And those are the kind of things that we'd like to share with you. We've got a lot of information up here. We've also got some information about some programs, some of which are federal grant monies that are available to you, and we can answer a lot of questions about those things. I'd also like to tell you about a little bit more about the EDIN organization because we're always looking for community members to get involved in this. There's different pieces of the EDIN organization. I specifically am very involved with the Energy Efficiency Working Group. There's a Renewable Energy Working Group, a Transportation Group, an Education Group, and all of these things go together and work together so that we as a community can become more informed, better informed, and do the things that are best for us as individuals, whether a homeowner, a business owner, or a community at large, to reduce the need that we have for fossil fuel and make us operate more efficiently and more cost effectively. So I invite you to come up and share some of the information that we have, ask any questions you have, and we'll be able to answer it as best as we can for you. Thank you very much.